In past videos, I explained the origin of the Shredder and how Hamato Yoshi's murder of Oroku Nagi brought dishonor to the Hamato family. I even talked about Hamato Hana, the last known heir to the Hamato family. But what happened to the Tangs, the family of Yoshi's wife? Today, I will be talking about the Mistress, unofficially known as Tang Amaya. The Mistress was created by Ross May in 2006 for Tales of the TMNT Volume 2, Number 22. This story occurred after Return to New York and before City at War, when the Turtles were still living in Northampton despite having taken down the Shredder. One day, Gosei Hattori came to ask for their assistance in taking down his father's corporation. I'll talk more extensively about the Gosei clan in another video, but this is what you need to know. The Gosei family has been able to pass their knowledge to their heirs for centuries, magically passing knowledge and skills. This became known as the Gosei spirit. Passing the spirit from one generation to the other had a snowballing effect, making the knowledge bigger and bigger with every new successor. In their preteen years, the Turtles helped Hattori's grandfather pass his knowledge to him, skipping his father. Hattori's father forsook the life of Bushido and created a criminal empire fronted by Goseiko Inc. He was in business with the Foot Clan during the Shredder years. Anyway, Hattori needed help from the Turtles to take down Goseiko. The plan was to get inside the building, access the main computer, and move all the money to a foreign account to later donate to different charities. The second objective was to access the armory and destroy all their weapons. And finally, Hattori wanted to find the men who ordered the assassination of his father and him, Takahashi and Iwata. They were able to move the money, but they immediately crossed paths with the Foot Clan. Their presence was a strange surprise to them. Aware of their presence, the Foot informed their leader, a woman they simply called Mistress. After hearing there was a samurai with 4 Ninja Turtles, Mistress put all the men in the building, civilians and otherwise, on a search to destroy the Turtles. Meanwhile, Hattori and the Turtles were able to find Iwata. He then explained how the situation came to be. Takahashi first employed the Foot Clan the night they ordered their assassination and continued doing business with them. But they relied too much on them, and before they knew it, Oroku Saki was calling the shots at Goseiko. Takahashi tried to regain control of the organization, but this only got him killed. This was the ideal opportunity for the Foot Clan to take over the company altogether. Saki sent a ninja woman to supervise the operations, who imprisoned Iwata in the building for years. This Kunoichi was the Mistress. While trying to escape the building, they were attacked by the Foot Clan and the Mistress. The deadly Kunoichi wanted to kill the Ninja Turtles herself to get revenge on them for the death of her master, Oroku Saki, and for the crimes committed by Hamato Yoshi. But the twist was that she wanted revenge for what Yoshi did, not to the Oroku family, but to her family. She disappeared between the flames before the building exploded in a blaze of fire. The Turtles were very confused about the Mistress. She had a gauntlet like Shredder's, and she mentioned crimes committed by Yoshi to another family they knew nothing about. This was the Mistress's only published story, but as you can see, there was still more story to tell. Ross May, who wrote this story under the supervision of Peter Laird, wrote a follow-up story for the Tales of the TMNT book. But because Steve Murphy, the then editor of the book, was reassigned to licensing, all the stories he was working with were shelved. That included the continuation of the Mistress storyline. The reveal in that story was approved by Peter Laird, so had it been published, it would have been canon. I briefly mentioned this story in this other video because it would have introduced Kino to the Mirage universe, but I digress. The follow-up story had Hattori and Kino protecting a judge that was being threatened by the mob. The Foot Clan seemed to be behind the threats, but when they were ready to kill the judge, they were surprised by the Turtles. They would find out then that Mistress intentionally put Hattori on the same path as theirs to get rid of them simultaneously. But the fight wouldn't really go her way, and before leaving, she would reveal that the family that Yoshi had wronged was the Tang family when he murdered her sister. Hattori would reveal to them that he found out about her identity. She was Tang Amaya, Tang Shen's sister. Another follow-up story to issue 22 was written by Tristan Jones for the Tales book. That story would have been a continuation of his ongoing gang war saga, and Tang and Mayo would have been a part of it. But in the middle of a battle, Han would have ripped off her arm, the one with the gauntlet. The turtles would have taken her to safety, and she would have realized she was fighting for the wrong side all along. It's unclear if that story was approved by Laird, but it wouldn't have fit in the same period of time from the Ross May stories, as the gang war saga happened after the events of City at War. On a different note, had Ross May continued writing for the book, he would have done a 4-page backup story, closing the storyline. In that proposed story, Amaya would have probably abandoned the Foot Clan after finding out that Yoshi didn't kill her sister. She would have thrown away her gauntlet, which would later be found by a Foot Elite, who would have mistakenly thought she died fighting the turtles. Also, assuming she died because her ninja forces abandoned her, the elites would have found a reason to band together, as they were the only ones loyal enough to the Shredder. They would take down the rest of the usurpers and pretenders, which would have led directly into the City at War events. Since the franchise was sold to Viacom, Ross May couldn't get a storyline printed, but his ideas were inserted into a fan-made conclusion for the then-incomplete TMNT Volume 3. In that story, Tang Amaya would have been the secret identity of Lady Shredder. Check out this other video to see what that story was all about. Thanks for watching.